Alright guys, welcome back to our PSEI overview for January 9 to 13, 2017. So we're looking at what could possibly happen for next week. I know you were so happy about the result for this week's trading as we saw a recovery of our market, and it's exceeded our expectation. Last week we did have some, or our major bias is bearish, since price action did pierce or close under our support area, but then again it did recover, and we didn't expect that to really close over previous lower high, and now we've created a new high, which indicates the change of market sentiments. So now what we're gonna look at is where we could possibly meet some resistance for next week. Of course, we've seen a really sharp movement upward, so we expect some pauses or relaxation of price action next week before we could really push through with the recovery, and hopefully for this month, if sentiments would not change by the time Donald Trump would sit in office by January 20, we would definitely get some huge profit for this month. So with that being said, let's go ahead and
Alright,
look at
back
the
with our
charts.
charts. Okay, now we're looking at PSEI. What could possibly happen next week? Let me just get a quick recap of what we've discussed last week's review. So we did mention that particular review. You can check out the link below of last week's review. We did have this bearish bias for one main reason. We pierced below our support zone. We've closed below our support zone. So that's telling us that price action are still, or possibly would still, move down. And before that, we didn't see any curve on our trends or moving averages. So since that was the case, we had a implication that it could possibly still move down, as moving averages didn't bend, or we didn't see any signals, buy signals from that point. So let's try and see and pull out our moving averages. So for everyone who's new on our channel in Askal Sa Merkado, we used exponential moving average 13, moving average 20. This is our short-term movement or crosses or signals for us to know early signs of price action reversals, whether downtrend or uptrend. Then moving average 50, which is our midterm, then our long-term 100, moving average 100, and moving average 200. Now, as I mentioned earlier, as I've said before, if you can see my pointer here, our moving averages didn't point out any signs of crossovers for us to indicate that this could possibly go down. But then again, 3 days or 2 days back, we saw this crossovers right here. So the moving average 13 crossover moving average 20, which tells us that this is already our entry buy signal. So we're looking at a reversal of sentiment. Aside from that, we've closed over previous resistance areas. So we've created a new high. a new high for our price action. So which is good, which validates our first signal, or the buy signal right here. And by looking at this chart, it's very clear that price action respected our support zone. It respected our support zone, and it bounced back up. Now, what could possibly happen next week? Next week, we would probably see a pullback, or a minor pullback, as we are approaching, or actually we've hit this resistance area. Support becomes resistance. We barely reach that. So most probably, if we hit this, if we hit this resistance right here, we will possibly see a pullback, or maybe perhaps a sideways movement by next week, before we could continue to move up to the next resistance area right about here. So if the trend is really strong, we could probably see a sideways movement, or either a continuation to this resistance area. So this will now be our resistance zone, for that matter. So this will be our resistance zone for this month. So we need to close over that. As you can see, let's pull out our Ichimoku cloud, so that we could, let me close the others first. Let's look at our Ichimoku cloud for us to be able to see the general condition of PSEI. So with our Ichimoku cloud, we barely close outside the Kumo. So if you remember, I mentioned that we need to close outside the Kumo in order for us to validate the breakout, and also the Chico span, the lagging span, the black wave right here, should also close outside of it to confirm that we are on a breakout. But so far so good. We're just gonna look at this particular area right here, from 7,300 to 7,500, right about there, as our resistance area. So we're gonna play around this prices by next week, and hopefully it would go with our it would go around, or our expectations, to really push through with it. Well, it's okay if it's gonna relax a bit right around here. Remember that every trend, I've always mentioned this before, that every trend there would always be pauses. So we expect some pause. If not, it will continue to move up. So that's basically it. Don't forget to check out our previous review as well, so that you could follow through what we're talking about here. And also, I made a special video for you guys. Try to check out the link below. That's a link for our trading psychology. I call that traffic light trading and psychology. So you might want to watch that as well. That will help you and guide you for 2017 and how to approach the market. Right? Again, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that subscribe button, and share. Hope to see you on the next video, guys.